We continue now at the top of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph from Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 103a. The Gemara is in the middle of explaining the position of Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara had said that Rabbi Yehuda holds that tying a bow is an Isser D'Oraisa, just like tying a knot. So therefore, you're even allowed to tie a knot in order to fix a harp in the Beis HaMikdash on Shabbos. But the Gemara wants to know, well, what does Rabbi Yehuda hold that he should allow this? If he's following Rabbi Eliezer's opinion that you're allowed to do machshirin for the purpose of a mitzvah anyway, well, then he should allow it even lechatchila. It shouldn't only be if the rope snaps. It should be even in the first place you should be allowed to tie the string. So that doesn't help us at all. Rashi says, you have to answer the fundamental question, who does Rabbi Yehuda hold like by machshir? Now, karchach Rabbi Eliezer svirle. If he's allowing you to tie the knot, he must hold like Rabbi Eliezer. The kavan de Rabbi Eliezer svirle, might have a lechatchila. If he holds like Rabbi Eliezer, why should it be a problem lechatchila? It should be okay. So rather, the Gemara says, Ela kasha, rather it's not a kasha, har Rabbi Shimon, har Rabbanan. Our Mishnah, which permits tying, follows the Rabbanan. The Brisa, which only permits to do a bow, follows Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa, Ben Levi, Shenifsika, Lo Nima, Bekinor. If you have somebody who's a Levi in the Beis HaMikdash and one of the strings on his harp breaks, kosher, you're allowed to tie it according to the Rabbanan. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Onva Rabbi Shimon says you can only use a bow. And Rashi over here explains, Elohar Rabbi Shimon, V'har Rabbanan, one follows Rabbi Shimon, one follows the Rabbanan, meaning Masnisin Rabbanan, Depligi Oled Rabbi Shimon. Our Mishnah, which allows you to tie a knot, is the Rabbanan who argue on Rabbi Shimon, V'amri, kosher, the Svirluk, Rabbi Eliezer, B'chada, the Machshire Mitzvah Dochen, V'chula. Now Rashi explains, because we're really back to square one. Very nice that our Mishnah is the Rabbanan, but who do the Rabbanan hold like? That was the same question we had in Rabbi Yehuda. If they hold like Rabbi Eliezer, it should be mutter lechatchila. You don't hold, then it's a problem. So what's going on? So Rashi here explains the Rabbanan partially hold like Rabbi Eliezer. Only in a situation where you couldn't have taken care of it yesterday, like where it snaps. Like when the string snaps on the harp. But if you could have done it yesterday, they don't agree with Rabbi Eliezer. Now Rashi points out, why didn't we say the same thing for Rabbi Yehuda? Let's say that he partially holds like Rabbi Eliezer. The reason is, the point is, we never heard that Rabbi Yehuda makes such a distinction. If we didn't see a Tana say that, we've got a problem. Over here, we actually, in this Brisa, we actually see the Rabbanan say that in contrast to Rabbi Shimon. And now the Brisa continues. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, if he's just going to tie a knot, it's not going to actually issue the proper sound, so he has a different solution. He can either lower it from below, the korech milmala, then wrap it up on top, or mishalshel milmala, or he can lower it from above, the korech milmata, and wrap it on the bottom. This is a different way of fixing the harp. Rashi over here explains. Mishalshel milmata, the korech milmala, shareyesh yistos milmalo lamata. There are little pegs on the top and the bottom of the harp, sheroshi hanim and kruchim ben, which you wrap these strings around. If he wants to, he can roll it and then he can actually lengthen the string. He's able to lengthen it to get to the proper point on the string where it's not broken and wrap it around. He can fix it like it was originally. So this is a solution that's better than tying a knot. Well, the Rabbanan hold it's better to tie a knot because lowering the string, extending the string is also an av malachahu. The mesakin kli kilchasu, you're fixing a kli. The kavan deshari lechatchila machlif vasi nami lahatir nimin bekinor chadash lechatchila hilkach kshir adifa. If you're going to be allowed to do that, you're going to end up thinking in your mind that I can even tie strings in the first place on a brand new harp, which you're not allowed to do. So in their view, it's better to do kashira rather than Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar's solution. V'bay Sema, the Gemara gives another answer to the contradiction again between the Mishnah and the Brisa. Ha v'har Rabbanan. In both cases, it follows the opinion of the Rabbanan. Really, you should be able to tie a knot. V'lo kasha, but it's not difficult. Kan be'emtza, kan minatzad. It depends where it breaks, whether it's in the middle or along the side. Rashi over here explains. Ha v'har Rabbanan de machshirin she'ev shemivod yom dochen. Machshirin you couldn't do yesterday, you're allowed to take care of now. V'hadik tani masnisin koshra kishenifsika be'emtzais. You tie it if it breaks in the middle. A bow is not going to work in the middle. It's not going to have a good sound. But if it snaps at the top, doesn't need to be so strong at the top. But it's good enough to use a bow, and that's what the Brisa says. And finally, the Gemara says, or we could answer both the Brisa and the Mishnah are talking about in the middle. Mar savar gazrinon umar savar lo gazrinon. Rashi explains. We're going back to the answer that the Mishnah follows the Rabbanon, the Brisa follows Rabbi Shimon. But according to this pshat, the Brisa which says not to tie it, really midoraisa you could tie it to Sfir Leila Rabbi Shimon machshir and the mitzvah dochen. According to this answer, Rabbi Shimon holds machshir of a mitzvah are okay to do. If you couldn't do it yesterday. However, Mishum Gezeru the Gazar Emtza Atu Min Asad. Rabbi Shimon has a Gezeru that the Rabbanon don't have. He says we're afraid to allow you to tie it in the middle because then maybe you're going to tie it at the side also. But in a normal situation without a Gezeru, really Rabbi Shimon would be lenient as well. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah. Chotchen Yabelos b'Mikdash. You're allowed to cut a ward off in the Beis HaMikdash. Avalov Medina, but not outside of the Beis HaMikdash. But if you use a utensil to cut it off, kan v'kan aser, it's always going to be a problem. Rashi over here explains. Yabelos is basically a ward. It's some kind of a mum, and you need to cut it off in order to do the avoda. Yabelos dekra karin yabelos she'ein shem davar. Rashi says the word yabelos in the pasuk is actually not a noun, but over here the word yabelos actually refers to a noun. Gemara says, we have a contradiction. Here kivo v'havaso michutz letchum v'chatichas yaboloso ein dochen. It says over here in the Brisa, if you need to ride it in or bringing it in from outside the tchum, or you need to cut off a yabelos, it is not doche. Rashi over here explains. Here kivo b'pesach haba b'Shabbos kama. We're talking here about a carbon pesach that you're bringing on Shabbos. Here kivo al kseifa b'Rosh Hashanah. You wanna bring it over on your shoulder and carry it in the Rosh Hashanah. Olav yomi chutz latchum, or you want to bring it from outside of the tchum. V'chatichas yabaloso ein dochen. You're also not allowed to cut the yabelos. Kasha stama stama. That's a kasha against our Mishnah, which says you are allowed to cut the yabelos. The Gemara answers it's a machlokus Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina. It's a machlokus between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina. Chad amar hava havalacha. One answers both are talking about a wart which is moist. V'lo kashan, it's not difficult. Kan biyad, kan bekli. It simply depends if you're taking it off with your hand or with a utensil. If you're taking it off with your hand, it's okay. You take it off with a kli, it's a problem. The Chad Amar in one answers, Hava habiyad. In both cases, you're taking it off with your hand. V'lokash, it's not difficult. Habalacha habiyavesha. If it's moist, it's going to be a problem. If it's dry, it's not going to be a problem. Rashi over here explains, Hadip psachim bekli. In the case of psachim where we're machmir, you're using a kli, so it's a problem. V'achinami kamartan demasisin. That's what our Mishnah actually says at the end, that a kli is a problem. For Rabbi Eliezer, afilu bekli shari. According to this answer, Rabbi Eliezer allows even with a kli, the svirale machshire mitzvah dochen Shabbos, kagon malacha shefshel asosmi ba'od yom, kagon bikur hamum machshire karbanhu, va'karban docha Shabbos of machshire and pligi. According to this answer, Rabbi Eliezer even allows with a kli, because again, preparation for a mitzvah which is docha Shabbos is perfectly fine. And masnisin biyavesha, the other answer is that our Mishnah is talking about where it's dried out. And according to this answer, even if it's dried out, it's also with a kli mishum nemasakein law, because he's fixing it. Ve'inyan malacha kavod, he's doing an inyan of malacha. With the psachim belachu travayu biyad. Now in psachim, we're talking about where it's moist, and it's in both situations, our Mishnah and the case of psachim, it's talking about where you're doing it with the hand. And so the Gemara says, Ulaman damar habiyad habakli, the one who answered that in our Mishnah it's with the hand and in the Psachim it's with a keli. My time lo amar habalacha b'yavesha. Why didn't he answer the answer of a difference between a moist wart or a dry one? So he says back, Amar lach, no, he'll say to you, yavesha afilu b'kli nami shari. Because according to him, a dry one everybody would say is okay. That would be okay even with a kli. My time, what's the reason? If it's already broken up, since it crumbles when you cut it, so it doesn't even resemble a malacha. Well, a man damar habalacha v'hoy. According to the one who says the distinction between a moist wart and a dry one, my time alo amar habiyad habakli. Why didn't he make a distinction between doing it with the hand and doing it with a keli? Amar loch, he says to you, b'chli hatnan, because if you're talking about a kli, it says in the Mishnah, in b'kli kan v'kan aser, that if you do it with a kli, it's always aser. Meaning, if a case of a kli is already in the Mishnah, what does the Brais and Psachim need to say the exact same case that's already in our Mishnah? V'idach, and the other will respond to that. Hadakatani hasim. The reason why we have the case in Psachim, mishum dekaboy flugei Rabbi Eliezer v'Rabbanan, because we want to show you that it's actually a machlokus between Rabbi Eliezer and the Rabbanan. V'idach, and the one who does not want to say the case in Psachim is talking about a kli, because dumya dihir kivo v'avosam yichutz l'tchum katani. We want it to be similar to the cases where you're bringing it from outside the tchum. Those are all, or the case where you're putting it on your shoulder. Those are all only isser midrabbanan. If you're going to say that we're talking about a kli, that would be an isser doraisa. The Rabbanan, we want to keep it to be Yisurim the Rabbanan, so he doesn't want to say that we're talking about a wart that's moist with a kli. V'idach, but the other one who says that Imsachim, it is talking about an Isser Doraisa, here Kiva, when you put it on your shoulder, Delok Rabbi Nasan, it's not following Rabbi Nasan. Diamar Hachai no say Asasma. Rabbi Nasan says a living animal carries itself, so when you carry a living animal on your shoulder, it's only D'Rabbanan. No, we're not talking about that. We're not following Rabbi Nasan, and carrying it on the shoulder is an Isser Doraisa. And Havaso as well, when you bring it from outside of the Tchum, Havaso michutz l'Tchum k'Rabbi Akiva. When you bring it from outside of the Tchum, the Brisa holds like Rabbi Akiva, Damar Tchum and Doraisa, who says Tchum is Doraisa, so that's why that opinion says, no, in the case of Psachim also, we're talking about cutting off a moist wart with a Kli, which is a Doraisa, similar to all the other cases in the Brisa. Meseches Rav Yosef asks the following question. Amar Rav Eliezer says, Kal v'chomer, he makes the Kal v'chomer. Just like you can slaughter an animal, and that's a malacha, and that's docha Shabbos. These things which are only D'Rabbanan, which are only Shvus, Eino din sheyidches Shabbos. Certainly, they should also push off Shabbos. So the implication clearly is that we're talking about only D'Rabbanans over here. Rashi over here says, Amar Rebbe Lazar Kal v'chomer hasam gabi pluksayo taninan lo b'perak elu dvarim. This is in Psachim. It says Elu shamishum shavus. Alma Tanakama mishum shavus kasarlu. You see that the Tanakama was talking only about an Isser D'Rabbanan. Ushmami na the lav bekli masukma. You see that the case of Psachim is not talking about with a keli. So it seems to be a proof that is not talking about with a kli. So rather, Elamar of Yosef says hava habiyad. The cases in both our Mishnah and the case of Psachim, we're talking about where you do it with the hand. Ushvus mikdash b'mikdash itiru. And according to Rav Yosef, a D'Rabbanan that's related to the Beis HaMikdash in the Beis HaMikdash, that was allowed. However, Shvus de Mikdash b'Medina, if you have a Shvus that's related to the Beis HaMikdash, but it's not taking place in the Beis HaMikdash, that's like the case in Psachim. The case over there is you're bringing a Karban Pesach, so in such a situation, you're not actually in the Beis HaMikdash, lo hitiru. That they did not allow. And Rashi over here says, Alamar Rav Yosef hava habiyad, both the case in our Mishnah and the Brisa and Psachim are talking about with the hand. Why didn't Rav Yosef give the answer we gave before? The difference is just whether it's dry or whether it's moist. He didn't want to say that our Mishnah is talking about dry, because he held then it would be permitted even with a kli. He'd prefer to say that our Mishnah is talking about moist with the hand. Hainu time of the sharin, you know why it's permitted? To shvusu, because it's a shvus. When you're in the Beis HaMikdash and talking about karbanos which you're checking in the Beis HaMikdash, that's one story. Uvipsachim hainu time of the asr, and psachim, the reason why it's asr, diafa gav the shvusu, even though it is a d'Rabbanan, it's sorech mikdashu, and it's for purposes of the Beis HaMikdash. Afilu achi, nevertheless, kevin d'chol echad v'echad mevakir pischo u'mesakno beveso. Since you're checking a Karban Pesach is not checked in the Beis HaMikdash, you're checking for the mum, you're checking for the wart outside the Beis HaMikdash. And then you bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. They didn't allow you to do that if you're outside of the Beis HaMikdash. We should just point out over here that Rashi is clearly learning the wart is on the animal, and you're cutting it off in order to prepare it for the Karban. The Rambam actually learns this entire sugya is talking about the wart is on the Kohen. No major nafkamina, both halachas would be the same halacha, but there is a machlokas, exactly what we're discussing over here. In any case, the Gemara continues, Yosef Abaya sat v'kamar lo shemaita. And he was saying over this sugya, he said over what Rav Yosef said, that shvus in the Beis HaMikdash is okay, but shvus of Mikdash outside the Mikdash is a problem. So Eizvei Rav Safra l'Abaya. So Rav Safra asked Abaya the following question. Hayakora b'sefer aliskop, a person's reading from a sefer on the threshold. When a skalgal has sefer miyado, it rolls out of his hand. Go lo etzlo, he said he's allowed to roll it back to himself. So v'hacha here also, the shvus to mikdash b'medina. This is a situation of shvus relevant to mikdash, but it's taking place outside of the mikdash, v'lo gazrinan, and we don't make a gezerah, dilma nafil, v'yasilei suye, that maybe it's going to fall and he's going to come to carry. So you see, when it comes to the Beis HaMikdash, even if it's in the Medina, we still have the leniency. And Rashi over here explains, Go lo etzlo dikevan digdo biyado afagav dika shvus dilma nafil kule l'rishas harabim. Even though there's a shvus, it might fall to rishas harabim, v'yasilei suye, and you might carry it. Sefer nami shvus to mikdash karile. Rashi says a sefer Torah or any kind of sefer that you're learning from is considered a shvus of the Beis HaMikdash. Sharei kodeshu, because it's holy. Alma shvus to tzorech mikdash hutar afa medina. So this is considered a shvus of tzorech mikdash, and you see that it's mutter even in the Medina. So apparently, even you don't make a gezerah anytime you have shvus to mikdash, even outside the Beis HaMikdash. Gemara says back, v'lo kimna biskopa karmelis. What are you talking about? We already said previously that this case is not talking about an iskopa that's a rishus hayachid, and there's a shavus that maybe you'll carry. There's a gezerah maybe you'll carry from rishus harabim to rishus hayachid. Not true. The iskopa is a carmelis with a rishus harabim in front of it. Tikeva digdo b'yado, and if he's holding part of the sefer, afilu shvus nami laki, you don't even have an isser d'rabbanan, because even if it falls out of his hand, it's at worst going to turn into an isser d'rabbanan. And the Gemara has another question on Rav Yosef. Esvei, they ask the following question: Mashalshlin es hapesach l'tanur im chashecha. You're allowed to lower the carbon pesach to the oven right before it gets dark. But over here also, the shvus de mikdash b'medina. This is an isser d'rabbanan normally, relevant to the Beis HaMikdash. It's taking place outside of the Beis HaMikdash. And apparently we don't make a gezerah that we're afraid. Normally we're afraid that you're going to stoke the coals when you put something in right before Shabbos. Here we're not afraid. So the Gemara says, Ishtik, so Abaye was quiet. He didn't have an answer on behalf of Rav Yosef. Kiyasa lakami de Rav Yosef, but when he came before Rav Yosef, Amar Le, he said, Hachi Amar li Rav Safra. Rav Safra said to me the following, and I didn't know how to respond. Amar Le, so Rav Yosef said back to Abaye, my time sishni le, you should have answered him simply. B'nei Chabura's reasoning, the people who are part of a group of a carbon pesach, they're very careful. Since they're extra careful, we're not concerned that they're going to stoke the coals. The Abaye, but Abaye, why didn't he answer that? Kohanim's reasoning, Kohanim are extra careful. Amrina, and that we say such a rule. B'nei Chabura's reason, hey, lo Amrina, but we don't say the people of the Chabura by the carbon pesach are so careful. Rava Amar, Rava gives a different answer to answer the Brisa, the contradiction between the Brisa and Pesachim and our Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer, really our Mishnah, which is lenient, follows Rabbi Eliezer, the Amar Machshirei mitzvah dochenas haShabbos, who says that preparation for a mitzvah can be docha Shabbos. However, Umoder, Rabbi Eliezer, but even Rabbi Eliezer admits you shouldn't be completely lenient. The Kama, the Efshar, L'shanuye Mishaninon. As much as we're able to do a Shinoi, we should do a Shinoi. And Rashi over here explains, Rav Amar, Hava Habiyad, both cases you're taking it off with your hand. Kida Amar, Devichli, Leka, Lu'ukme, L'psacha, Misha Malacha. Because if it was a Kli, it would be a problem, it would be a Malacha. V'habalacha, and in both cases it's a moist word to Ibi Avesha, Lo Mitzar Bekli. If it would be dry, it would not be also with a Kli. But our Mishnah, which says that something that you could have done yesterday, you're allowed to push it off. Mekami machshirei mitzvah, Rabbi Eliezer, that follows Rabbi Eliezer. The polagnami Allah dahu de psachim. He argues over there in the case of psachim as well. V'yamar dochen, and he says that we're lenient in that case. Even a doraisa he would push off, and certainly a derabanan. So then the question is, how come our Mishnah finishes off and says a kli is aser? Rabbi Eliezer should always be lenient. The Gemara explains, Mo'uder Rabbi Eliezer, because Rabbi Eliezer admits, the Kama de Efshar l'shanuye mishaninole. Any shinoi that we could do, in this case using your hand, we will allow v'lo mechalalin on Shabsa. We shouldn't be mechal Shabbos if there's some kind of shinoi we can make. Vehecha de lo efshar, but if there's no possibility of a shinoi, could go in gabe zemel, like the case of any zemel by the bris milah, tachina nafilo av malacha. Then indeed we would be docha even in av malacha. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Gimel Amud Beis.